Hi, I'm Ostavan Surya here from Aviation Talk, the voice of aviation professionals. So, joining with me here today are two eminent panelists. First, Mr. Alagan Kanagaratnam from Inspiring Development Solutions and Ms. Ranisha Atapattu from Millennium College of Aviation Studies to discuss on two very interesting topics, the career pathways for aviation professionals and their requirements. So, yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Osandar. Well, I started my career in aviation in 1978 with Air Ceylon and then joined Air Lanka for 1 year and then moved to Oman. I joined Oman Aviation Services and the last 30 years I spent with the Emirates Airline in Dubai. I was heading the Learning and Development Unit for the last 30 years. During the period I was with Emirates, I had the opportunity of working in different units, leading different learning units, leadership and service development, business development and projects, and then of course the airline and agency side of training. So that gave me quite a lot of experience, and then I had the opportunity of starting up almost 150 stations, overseas stations, and then 4 terminal transitions. As you know, in Dubai, we built one of the largest terminal facilities, 4 terminal transition projects, and also had the opportunity of opening the Al Maktoum International Airport in Dubai. So over the 30 years, working with the wider group of people, I had 80 learning and development specialists reporting into me. In addition to that, we also developed 500 business connect facilitators. They were our arm in outstations. So leading that large unit, we gained quite a lot of experience. And also, we also learned to do training the correct way and at the same time what not to do in training. So in 2018, I came to Sri Lanka in the month of August, and then we thought, 34 years of learning and development, thought, let me not do any training at all. And then when we came to Sri Lanka, when we started to speak to people, we realized there was a big need for professional training, professional development in Sri Lanka. With that need, we established the Inspiring Development Solutions in the year 2019, June, to serve the community, to bring best learning and development practices into Sri Lanka. Because quite a number of people started to say that they were not getting selected into organization and there are no professional opportunities for them to develop. And therefore, this organization set up was primarily to develop the behavioral competencies of people, because most of the time what we realized was there are lots of organizations delivering technical training. There are no opportunities for people to get themselves developed professionally, behaviorally. So now we have been doing quite a lot of work in Sri Lanka, bringing the technical element of learning and as well as embedding the behavioral element, because that is what is the need of the global organization at this particular time. So that's where we are today in working with MCAS into making sure we develop and deliver professional training to the Sri Lankan community.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, over to you.
Thank you, Osandar. My name is Ranisha Atapattu, and I'm the General Manager and Head of Academics at Millennium College of Aviation Studies. I completed my aviation education with Emirates Aviation University, that is located in Dubai. And my aim and role in this position is to pretty much implement the international standards and the experience that I got at Millennium College of Aviation Studies. To give you a little introduction about Millennium College of Aviation Studies, is that we are an aviation specialized college and we offer programs in aviation management and aviation operations. We also offer Sri Lanka's very first aviation management degree, which is awarded by Lincoln University College, Malaysia. We are also a recognized trainer by CPD UK. So, along with our degree, we offer various other programs such as the certificate level, diplomas, continuous professional development programs, and aviation fundamentals as well. And the whole purpose of all these programs is to train individuals into skilled people who are fit for the local and global aviation industry.
Yes,
Synergy.
definitely. Because every time we talk about aviation, there is only two people that is highlighted, that is the pilots as well as the cabin
Correct.
crew. But then beyond
Yes.
that, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that everyone talks about. So thank you for that, valuable addition to our audience. So then, talking about this, so what are the what is the requirement for all the skilled professionals out there? I think you coming from a background of learning and development in Emirates, you should have a broad idea about this. Can you just share your valuable opinion?
Over the years that I spent in learning and development in Emirates, I've come across people from all over the world coming and joining Emirates.
Yes.
One of the things that we always made sure is we always recruited people for attitudes and then develop people for their skills. So, taking that kind of a cue, I also want to express during the period with my previous employer, very few Sri Lankans got recruited into the aviation sector. More from other locations like India and Philippines got selected because they brought in quite a lot of behavioral skills, attitudes, whereas our people focus too much on education, the technical knowledge and know-how.
Yes.
So therefore, coming here, what we are working with the Millennium College of Aviation Studies is how do we bring these two elements together?
Definitely.
Bringing the technical skills as well as the behavioral elements. Because in the markets, in the international markets today, people are looking for more and more attitudes and behaviors, the competencies.
Yes.
So therefore, here we are embedding your technical skills and the behavioral competencies and developing a cadre of people to suit the requirements of the aviation industry into the future. We are not only looking for people to be employed in Sri Lanka, we want to develop people for the international market. That is our aim, because we need to make sure that people who carry our certificate, when they walk into any of those organizations, they are immediately recognized for the quality that they bring in.
Yeah.
Even the programs that we design, we don't want to design any program for the sake of a training course. We are going out of that old model of courses for the sake of courses.
Yes.
We want to bring result-oriented, practical-oriented learning solutions. So that's the kind of a direction that we are going. We are breaking some of the norms. Example, in our courses, the pass mark is 100%.
Okay.
100%. Because the reason for that is if somebody scores 5 marks less, that 5 mark could be leading to a danger or a disaster in the aviation sector. So we want to make sure people who come out of our organization are fully competent people who are able to step into the aviation field with greater confidence and competency, and that's the kind of people that we want to develop through our partnership and the program.
Okay, so I would like to frankly tell you that these were first of many of the words that you said. 100% marks. This is the first time I'm hearing. And then, rather than just the technical knowledge, but then attitude and behavior, because that is something that we really need to adjust if we want to go into the international market, not just the Sri Lankan, but then if you are planning on going abroad, yes, we need these things. So I'll go one more step ahead with you, sir. So, now you said we need to create or embed students with the theoretical as well as the practical and the the attitudes, and then you went into saying that rather than just getting 75, that will be the normal average passing mark for aviation, but you all have increased the standards to 100% because you all don't want anyone passing out with your certificate to have even that 5% chance saying that this could have led to a disaster.
Absolutely.
Because everything in aviation is even that 5% we cannot have that, it has to be 100%. So do I agree? Yes, I do agree as a professional as well. So like, how can you embed this? What are the how can I say, sir, can we embed those skilled professionals over here?
Certainly yes. Because one of the things that we do is when we recruit people for our programs, we also don't just recruit for the sake of recruiting them. Just because you bring in money, we don't want to say, yes, you come into the program. We have a screening process as well.
Okay.
Because anybody who wants to join the joint program, MCAS and Inspiring Development Solution, we want to make sure that people are screened, they have got the necessary competence to go through the program, the demanding, the types of the program, and at the same time, we want them to be, able to perform those work or the demonstrate their knowledge and the know-how at the workplace.
Yes.
So that is why we are bringing in work-based, people have to demonstrate. It is not, our assessments are not purely dependent on the test paper theory where they mark we look at their ability to write an examination is important. In addition to that, constantly we observe their behaviors in the classroom. We keep a minute level of detail as to the competence that they have demonstrated in the workplace. And then we go another stage to see, are they able to demonstrate what they learned at the workplace through simulated activities.
Alright.
So when you bring all these three things together, then we will be able to determine whether they are suitable to be qualified, they are suitable to be certified. Only thing is, we don't do anything to pass or fail people.
Yeah.
We want to make sure these people are competent and they are. Our job is as developers, our job is to make sure we develop them and not to ditch them.
Yes, true.
That's the kind of a change that we want to bring into the programs that we run.
Yes.
This is about individuals coming into a program, and if we run this program for organizations, we will be always customizing the program to suit the needs of the organization. That's why when people come and ask me, what are the courses that you have? I say, I don't have any courses. I ask them, what are the challenges that you are facing? Based on the challenges, we will be able to design the solutions for you. I don't have any off-the-shelf courses so that you can pick and run. It is only result based. And we also identify, why do they come to us for training? When they come to us for training, there must be something not working. When they come to us for customer services training example, there must be something that is not right which they want to fix. We go into the detail, just like a doctor. We go and identify what are the real issues that you're facing, what are the culture of the organization. So we don't only provide learning solutions as such, we also look at what are the other things that are not working in your organization that needs to be fixed for the training program to work. So we don't do training for the sake of training, we provide holistic solutions to organizations.
Okay, that is an off-the-shelf answer, because everything is normally it is all pre-made, where as you said, where you take from a shelf and be like, here's your course, here's your certificate. So you all are going for a customized solution where it is not just for the students, where students definitely they can come and go through your program, but even for an organization where they can approach you all and they can get a customized solution for their requirements that they have.
Yes. And the customized solution, we also say, for example, let's take an organization says, my customer complaints have gone up, this many percentages. X number of percentages. And then we first, do an analysis to say, why is it happening? What are the reasons why? And there may be certain things the organization itself has to fix.
Yeah.
When if the computer systems are not working, training cannot fix it.
Yes.
It has got to be done by them. And whenever we identify there's a very specific learning related work, then we say, okay, this is your stage, this is where you are today, and in 3 months' time or 6 months' time, agreed with the organization, where will we bring your organization? So therefore, we will undertake training only if we are able to, with the organization especially, if they give us the freedom to bring about the change. Because I don't want to go and report to any organization to say, we train 300 people, 500 people, 600 people. I don't want to be in a situation like that. I want to go and say, we brought in this much of improvement to your service standards. We saved you this much of money to your organization. That's the kind of a tangible results that we want to provide to the organization, not just for the sake of stating numbers, say this is the numbers that we have trained. That's the new model that we are bringing in partnership with our colleagues.
That is actually a very new perspective for me as well, because every time that I have gone to or visited any other organization, it is about, from the time you enter, the only objective is to register the student where they take the money. But then you mentioned in your previous question as well, where you all go through a screening process, you all check whether the student is eligible and can successfully go through, and then afterwards you mentioned, like, even for the organizations, it is not the number of heads that you all have trained, but then it is the the factual figures where you can show that you have improved from one standard to a different standard. So I do appreciate it as well. And then going into, sir, now, the past few years have been quite tough. We was hit, if you take from the Sri Lankan perspective, we had bombings, then going into, we had the COVID situation, and yes, we are shifting to a off COVID situation, but there is a on and off hiccups. So how can we match the training with all these hiccups that are coming up, as in COVID? Because online and offline are two different. So how can you add on some value to this?
Especially, that's a very interesting question that today when you go to most of the organization, if there's a delay in service, if there's a poor quality in service, what's the excuse they give? Or because of COVID, COVID or other technical things that they say. But I understand, we had gone through COVID, we have been through various other hiccups, etc. But organizations have to move forward. These are setbacks. We have to overcome these setbacks and move forward. If some of the top airlines or top organizations, if they also sit back and say, oh, we had COVID, or we had all these problems, what will happen is they will never be able to move forward. So what I am advocating is, what I'm promoting is, organizations have to change. Organization culture has to change, and people have to change, because people can't be in the old paradigm and expect suddenly change. The organizations cannot be successful with all those challenges that they're facing just by idling and giving excuses. They need to come forward and bring about that organizational cultural change. And at the same time, the manpower, people have got to be now getting ready to a new organization that is emerging. Now, looking at my previous employer, Emirates, when I left 2018, that Emirates is not the airline today, completely changed. So therefore, what is happening is, organizations have got to be preparing for that change. It's a very, very volatile situation, uncertain situation. So we have to be preparing. The organizational culture has to change. The people's attitudes and behaviors have changed. That is where the organizations have got to invest their money. And unless they look into that, and unless they focus on those areas, they will continue to operate in the same old manner without any successes. Today, if you go to some of our major service providers, hotels, etc., you go to them and you don't see the first 5-star service anymore. You don't see the 5-star service. Why? And the people have, there's been a lot of turnover, people have moved, and then the new people who have come in have not been developed, trained to undertake those challenges that are emerging. So even for the people who have left the organization, who want to rejoin aviation, I'm telling them, you can't go back and say, I have 10 years, 15 years, 20 years experience and therefore take me. No, the organizations are now looking for a new set, new culture, new breed of people. So we need to be prepared for that in order to claim a stake in this new environment.
All right, sir. So, as you mentioned, people are looking, the employers basically are looking for a new breed in this aviation industry as from the students. So, when recruiting from an organizational perspective, since you have, years of experience to your name, what are the things that, these organizations look at? What are the, as you mentioned before, it's not just the theoretical anymore, it is with the other add-ons that they are looking for. So, from your expertise, do mention.
Because when I want to recruit somebody to my organization, I want this person to be thinking about finances. I want this person to be thinking about teamwork. I want this person to be bringing in change and the change agents. So multiple elements, dimensions that I'm looking for. I've come across people who bring in quite a number of certificates and beautifully filed and put on the table. And when we ask them to introduce themselves, and they don't do a good job. So at the first instance itself, people have lost the opportunity of marketing and selling. When I left Dubai and came to Sri Lanka in 2018, August, I said, I'm not going to do any training anymore. Enough. 36 years of training is enough, kind of a thing. And then when we started to talk to youngsters, we realized some people said, oh, there's no point in applying for this job. We will never get recruited. Some people said, I've been in this organization for 13, 14 years. I never got promoted, and the newcomers are getting promoted. So then we said, send me your CVs. Send me your CVs. When I started to talk to them, when I saw the few CVs, I realized why they were not getting recruited. Somebody writing a 13-page CV with all those, including entries, computer entries that they know is boring for the recruiter.
Definitely.
So straight away those things goes into the bin. So therefore, people have got to be, recently we ran some program for people who wanted to go overseas for jobs. And then we worked out what are the job competencies, and we develop these people on those competencies so that these people can go and do a bit of a marketing themselves, because that marketing is very important, because you get about half an hour maximum with the interview panel. Some of them don't even get 5 minutes.
Yes.
Immediately rejection happens. So during that period, you should be able to market yourself. And most of the time, people are not able to say, they back up their education or experience with substantial evidences.
Yes.
I met a person in one of my neighboring countries, and we were recruiting. He said, I'm so passionate about aviation, and he spoke everything about aviation at that time. He's passionate, he has all these models all over the room, etc. And that's the time the 380 came into the market. Big news, big splash news. I asked him during this week, what is the biggest news that you have related to aviation? He did not know. When I spoke about 380, he did not know. So he did not back up his passion with evidences of so that is the kind of a competence and evidences you need to be able to demonstrate. So today in Sri Lanka, people have come across people, when it comes to behavioral related investment, they're not very keen to invest. So if you want to stand a chance in the international market, for that matter, in future Sri Lanka market, you need to have that balance between technical and behavioral elements. So we do coach people. To how to present themselves, your leadership. How do you present your leadership qualities? Today we just finished an assessment center. People who have registered to attend certain programs with us, we ran an assessment center to look into their behavioral components. Will these people be able to match the requirements of the organization? Will I be able to put forward these people to the aviation sector and feel comfortable that they will be, at least interviewed, and will they stand a chance? So we do conduct behavioral assessments. We do this assessment for two reasons. One, you can be doing that assessment for the purpose of recruiting people or for development of people. So in this particular program, we don't want, as we said earlier on, we don't want just people for the sake they are able to pay money. No, because just because they are able to pay money and come onto the program, if we are not able to create the path for them, it is not worth. Yes. So we want to tell them, thank you very much, this is not for you. Yes. Kind of a situation.
Is it okay if I?
Yeah, definitely. Please
I just want to say that, like, at Millennium College of Aviation Studies, it's not just about teaching. Like Mr. Carnegie mentioned, we do have interviews. How do you prepare yourself for an interview? How do you prepare your CV? The groundwork that will help you get into the industry is what we train here. It's not just going to be a lecturer coming in and teaching a certain topic, teaching syllabus, learning outcomes. Yes, that is involved. That's education at the end of the day. But the additional facilities that we want to introduce is interview preparation. We even hold a lot of webinars as well. Mm-hmm. It's just to educate. We want to educate people about aviation because it's a very niche market at the end of the day. In the outside world, everyone knows about aviation. But I feel in Sri Lanka, not only myself, I believe Mr. Carnegie as well, would agree that not a lot of people know about aviation. So in spite of being an educational institute, we want to give that value addition of educating people about aviation and preparing them. Even our students who are already enrolled with us, we're like a family. We have a WhatsApp group and we share aviation news on a daily basis. We want to push our students to become passionate about aviation. Yes, there are people who are already passionate, but like in your example, they might be passionate but have no idea actually about what's going on in the world. So this is what we're trying to change. We want people to get involved, people to educate themselves, and basically be aware about what aviation is, because there's so much people don't know unless they start learning about it. Yes. Myself, like I didn't mention, but I'm not passionate about aviation, but my passion for aviation grew once I started learning about the aviation sector. So that's the similar lifestyle, similar learning environment that we want to produce for our students. That's the change we want to make.
All right. That is the new change that we want to go ahead with as well. Because yes, as you mentioned, aviation is a vast field, but then if you take in Sri Lanka, it is the most minute field that is not known. Yes. Only maybe in a few Colombo or the outskirts of Colombo people, they do not have an idea sometimes about aviation. So
just if I can add to
yes, please sir.
When it comes to our aviation program, we just don't keep narrowly for the aviation sector. We also bring in customer services, relationship management, etc. so that these people will be able to go into any service sector and stake their claim for an opportunity over there. So that's the kind of a model that we are developing. It is not just technical A, B, C, D kind of a thing. We develop well-rounded people.
Where your students has the capacity of just going out of that and then broadening their options once they go into the job market.
Yes. And something that we also, it's not only in one program. Yeah. If you join us, we train you on your speaking skills.
Definitely.
Because part of how we assess a student is through presentation. So we actually want people to get out of their shells. Yes. There's so many students who have joined us, who joined us in a little shell, but little later on we see that they are speaking out.
Yeah.
More than us teaching them, we want to see that change in them, in the student. So if they learn, of course, that's the advantage. They get the distinctions, merits, very good for them. But it's their personality,
Yes.
their confidence. That's what we want to change. That's why we came together to create a special little program for young people, especially. And to build them, because that's the time that you can build them actually, not when they're adults and have already
It's
created
quite
the
hard to
mindset.
create a change. when it
Exactly.
comes
So it's
to
the
it.
freshers, the youngsters that we want to make a change to and give them an experience that they might not get anywhere else.
Yeah, I do agree, because I think with whatever that you're saying, ma'am, and then whatever sir said earlier, it is not just the technical but also the other side of it, that if you want to get recruited in Sri Lanka or even outside Sri Lanka, you need both, the best of both. Then
Correct.
only you have the opportunity outside. Okay, so then coming into the program, I would like to discuss with you. So what is this certificate program that you all are launching?
Yes.
If I can, have some more details about this.
Sure. Okay. To give you the foundation, actually, why this program was built. The founder of Millennium College of Aviation Studies, Mr. Abdullah, he's actually someone who's well aware about what's happening, especially in the aviation industry. So he found this little gap that needs to be bridged.
Yes.
And it's not only in aviation, even just in customer service, in any service sector, we see that there is a gap that has to be bridged. So that's why we joined hands with Mr. Carnegie, Inspiring Development Solutions, to bridge this gap, to fill the gap. And it's a 3 months program, but it's a 3 months intensive, very intensive program. We're covering over 100 hours of training, and we're covering 20 different areas. So we have, to give you an idea, it's going to cover on customer service, load control, baggage handling special passengers with special needs, dangerous goods, and so many different areas, both in management and operations as well. So it's going to be something very different, something that's not available in the market. It's going to be a very hands-on experience, and it's going to be through a lot of role-playing. And this new technique of role-playing actually is new to Sri Lanka. But I've experienced it when I studied with Emirates Aviation. We learned through role-playing, and that makes a difference.
Yes.
Not just sitting in class and listening to your lecture, it doesn't make a difference to your life. So that's what we wanted to implement, and that's what we have created together. I think Mr. Carnegie, being the lead trainer in the program, I think you can add a bit more about...
because what we want to mention is, if you look at, going back in my career with Emirates, I started 150 stations for Emirates, set up 2 ground handling companies, managed 4 airport transitions, and opened 1 new airport. With all that experience, I thought if I don't contribute to the development of a community in Sri Lanka, I may not be doing justice. So how do I transfer that experience and expertise that we got over a 30-year period with our people is happening in now? So that's where our programs, when these people walk out of this room after having attended the program, they will be able to do a job. It is not the theory, it is not the pass mark, they will be able to do a job. We will be putting them through such tests. It will be simulating an entire airport operation, starting with passenger checking, the baggage handling part of it, the boarding processes, the special customer needs, taking care of that, the ramp handling part of it, all simulated inside the classroom environment with practical, activities and load control. So this is a well-rounded program that we want to develop and deliver to these people who will be able to go and start working for any organization with minimal input, because obviously they need to understand the organization, the culture, the local procedures, but all the international process and procedures are completely covered, and they will be able to go and start working at an airport. We also make sure We don't solve problems for them. When the airport, when they go through challenges, flight delays and disruptions, we don't go and solve problems for them. We sit and watch and ask them to solve the problems, and then they come back and tell us how they solve the problem. So that is the thing, because through that, when you teach them, they will listen, and after a while they will forget. And if they have to really struggle through and come out of that, they will remember it for a lifetime. So that's the style that we want to bring into this program, so that whoever who walks out of this room after having the training program will be able to function independently, and both, be it Sri Lanka or for that matter any part of the world. And we cover international regulations as well when it comes to handling customers with specific needs. The rules in the USA and European Union are so strict, and our people need to understand that. So that's the kind of culture that we develop in our people.
And to sorry,
Yeah,
and to
definitely,
add
please.
and to add on, it's not only just going to be for aviation. Just because the name of the certificate says Certificate in Airport Ground Operations, it's not going to be just a useful program for you if you want to get into aviation. Anything, any service related job opportunity you want to join, it'll be an ideal program. Because like we continuously keep mentioning, it's going to be very simulated. Not only with airport work, it's just going to be how you're going to handle people. How do you speak to a certain person? If someone is being rude to you or rowdy to you, as an employee, how do you handle that situation? Because at the end of the day, you are the face of your company, right? So how you handle your customers, how well you treat them, how you follow up with them, all that at the end of the day is the face of your company. So it doesn't matter if you're in the aviation industry, hospitality industry, even the if you're working at a restaurant, if you're working at a hospital, you're working with people, right?
Yes.
So how you present yourself to people is what we're training here. So that'll be an added advantage to a lot of people.
Definitely. So from whatever that I understood is that it is a very tightly packed thing that you all are trying to deliver, because it is not just for the aviation professionals but then to all the professionals in the service industry, where they can come learn this, and then with the added experience from how aviation operations go on. So then going on into more details about the program. Okay, so why would someone come and join this program? I think this point was already briefly mentioned in
Correct.
our earlier point as well.
Yes.
But then if you go into the specifics, what are the major reasons for someone to join this program? I would like to answer, from both of y'all.
Yes, Mr. Khan.
One, you will be developing yourself as an individual.
Yes.
Through this development, you will be able to deal with your day-to-day challenges as well, your leadership, your team working, your customer services, etc. You will be, I'm not talking anything about aviation at this particular moment.
Yeah.
Completely your behavioral element,
Yeah.
you will be able to improve yourself. So even if they go to a bank, if they want to talk to your banker and deal with something, they will have that, added competencies to be able to do that better. And when they're working in a group, be it a voluntary organization or any organization, they will be able to, work along with the others in a more collaborative manner. You go for an interview, you will be heard. You may sometimes not get the job, but you have created that impression. He's a good lad. However it is, we don't have opportunities now. Maybe somebody that we need to be looking at. So personalities wise, this individual will be able to do individually developing self, and within the team, this individual will be able to stand out. And more than standing out, he will be able to work in collaboration with people. Here, one of the things that we always make sure is we don't want stars. We don't want somebody says, I scored this, I'm 100%. We don't want stars. We want team players, people who can, help each other, and as a team that we, become successful. And then career-wise, they would have already, through this learning, they have specialized in one career, that is aviation. And in addition to that, they have also been able to market themselves in the other service sectors. So it is a well-rounded kind of a program. This is coming from years of experience having done, because if you look at Emirates, did not become the number one airline just by a stroke of luck kind of thing. Over the years, we have invested so much on the people development, and those are the things that contributed to becoming that organization to be the number one.
Definitely.
So we are bringing that experience and expertise to Sri Lanka, and then share that and make a very competent community in this part of the world.
Yes. And then from your
Yes,
perspective?
to of course add on, we are going to be creating a very safe space. Like I mentioned, this program is mainly going to be for the young crowd.
Yes.
Basically, we're going to create an environment where they can make mistakes. That's not a problem. The whole point of making mistakes is to learn from it.
Yes.
So that's the environment we create in this program. And we just basically want to see a change in the current children, basically. You come from A levels, you have a certain mindset. You've just studied a book and you're coming out. We want to change that. We want the students to interact with people. We want the students to speak up. We want the students to be more confident. Yes, there are a lot of people who are not very confident with speaking English, especially. And they think, I cannot join the aviation industry because I don't have English. But again, we are creating that environment where the student can speak a bit of Sinhala, speak a bit of Tamil, and learn and develop through that. So, as I keep saying, it'll be a very safe space, a very interactive program. It'll give a lot of opportunities for people to meet a lot of new people as well.
Definitely.
We train from professionals as well.
Yes.
We train from people from an academic perspective as well, and from international standards. That is what we're trying to bring in our program as a difference this time.
All right.
And also,
Yes, sir.
we have the capability of running the program in English, Sinhala, and Tamil as well.
Okay.
So any people from any part of the world in part of Sri Lanka can join this program, because that support is available in this.
Correct. Yes.
Yes, that is great. That is actually an added benefit to the students that I say. So then, in summary, this is one of the trending programs that should be introduced, that will be introduced by you all actually, and then it is a fully packed program that is for all kinds of people who are walking the paths, not just in aviation, but then in travel and tourism, then hospitality.
Yes.
Even when it goes to the other industries, even someone like marketing, they can benefit from this program. And then with the new added benefits, where it is not just theoretical, but then all the practicality, where it's simulation based, where they get a different approach, a new way. So then I wish you all the very best for the program. So thank you for joining with us today on this episode.
Thank you, Asunda, for your time.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.